Dang it. All right, everyone. Welcome to the 7th and final part of how the diesel Bronco was built before there was Murphy's Law Garage on YouTube. So I left you on a bit of a cliffhanger last time, and here is the drive shaft we absolutely ruined. Now, I really wish I had taken more pictures or video of this, but it's not something we really did at the time. But what happened was the CV joint, being at an uncomfortable angle, literally peeled itself out of the drive shaft inside of David's neighborhood. And when it did, you can see here how it's yanked itself out. All of this is tore up. You can see I'm actually checking the angle of the rear end now like I should have. It actually slapped this fuel filter, and it's broken right here. You can just barely see it. And you can see I've got clamps on either side of it. Well, it was 2 blocks away from David's house in the neighborhood when this happened, and I had to run all the way back to his house to get these vice grips so that I could stop diesel from absolutely pissing out of this broken filter. In hindsight, it probably wasn't a great idea to put the filter right next to the drive shaft, but it happened. So yeah, we ended up having to get a new filter and rebuild the drive shaft. So the drive shaft was actually, you can see, look at the destruction in here, all of this turned sideways. The drive shaft ended up being built by High Angle Drive Lines in California. Their shop actually got burned down in those really bad fires they had a couple of years ago in California. But they built us a custom drive shaft that could handle more angle, and also changed the angle of the rear end to better suit that double cardigan joint. So right here you can see that I'm prepping the rear fender to be trimmed. And what I've done here is I've basically just drawn a line with a little bit extra clearance than I thought I needed on either side of it, and then blended it in real nice by eye. Here it is, cut off and then primed in. Alright, so you can see the fender's all primed in here, and the truck's tires have plenty of clearance. You can also see now that with those new springs that we had made, the truck is sitting much more level now. And this did eventually squat a little more, giving it a bit of a rake, but that's fine. The truck rides super nice. The hood was also put on for the first time. And the whole reason why the hood is on the truck is not because we were preparing to paint, because we were going to go on a trip to Mississippi. We had a goal to get the truck done for a trip to Mississippi for some work stuff we had to do. And we were in a mad rush to get that all finished up and ready to go. And that's why the truck to this day still doesn't have paint, because we got it running and left it be. You can see how nice and clean this engine bay looks. Boy, we need to get it that clean again. So here's the spare tire. Yes, we have a 40-inch spare with a matching rim. Currently it's inside of the bed of the truck with a Jeep style straight jack, pole jack. This will eventually get mounted to a custom bumper on the back of the truck and be on a swing arm. You have David chilling back here. You can see just how ridiculous that looks from outside the truck. Alright, we've even put the camper top back on here. Like I said, we're getting ready to go on a trip for this. See, camper top is back on. We are very proud of this sticker. It's actually a fellow, I believe he's in the military, made this for us, and David had him design it and send it out. So we've got real trucks don't have spark plugs, and of course there is a Powerstroke Bronco pulling a Jeep out of the mud. Everything's right with the world, right? Alright, little wider angle shot. Alright, so this is when the video was picked up by 1320, and it went absolutely insanely viral. This happened inside of a week, but you can see over 4,000 comments, over 13,000 shares, over 1 million views. See right here, I believe this has more of a view counter on it. Maybe not, same thing. Oh look, see, it's showing it right around 1 million views at this point. It got up to about 1.5 million. Alright, so what's actually going on here is that this is after the poor boy diesel tune has been put in the truck. You can see when it fired up, it no longer had that lope. And we've got it turned as wide open as you can be on a stock turbo setup. Alright, so what's going on here is this is the white Dodge, the shop truck. And right ahead of you here is, of course, the Bronco going down the road, which had horrible pigeon toe on the front suspension that needed to be corrected. We're driving to the only shop that was literally an hour and a half away that would even touch this truck to attempt an alignment. Alright, so this is, oh geez, it's like we're missing it. There we go. This is on the way. We started very early in the morning. Still on the way to that shop. Here's the Bronco. Look at how pigeon toe the tires are here. You can see the contact pattern is all on the outside edge. You can see just how far it's leaning here. Let's actually back up. This is after we got the alignment. You can see that most of it's gone, and it's still in this state today. The suspension's actually sagged a tiny bit more, and it's taken some out of it. We'd really need to either get the coils a little bit shorter or increase the lift a little bit in the front IRS to get rid of all of it, but it hasn't really been an issue for us. You can see David's an awfully proud daddy over here. Leave the stop sign, get on it. All of it.
Where my buddies in the passenger seat with his laptop were programming the transmission.
Alright, so what you're looking at here is that me trying everything possible. This is on-the-road tuning. It's the first tuning we've done of the transmission while driving around. And I'm trying everything I can with the speedo reading incorrectly in software to make adjustments to the map to get it to shift properly. And you can see I am all over the place here trying to get the transmission to stop slipping. And this is because we really needed to get it to Mississippi, and I didn't want the transmission hurting itself, so we're doing everything possible to try to get it right. This is funny. So the reason why this is in here is this is the effective gear ratio of the truck. So you see a little right here? We did a little math on our effective gear ratio is now what it is now with 40s and 355 gears. It basically has two 57s because it has a 355 rear end. And that's part of the reason why it does so well on fuel economy with 40s and the tune turned up to 6. Here we are on our way to Mississippi. We're crossing through Louisiana into Mississippi, and we stopped to take a picture of it with the Bronco. Here we are. This actually, it should be before the other picture, but this is us driving through downtown New Orleans, and people just freaking out. You know, it's the first time we've driven a truck around in the city. Everyone's staying away from it, getting out the way, so on and so forth. Here we are coming into the Biloxi area, Ocean Springs area with the Bronco up by the beach. I like the massive cavern of a hole in that Dodge dash. Here we are on the highway coming back, I believe. Yep, and we're almost home with it. Making the last turn. So what actually ended up happening here is on the way home in there, we had to stop a whole bunch of times because the transmission kept overheating. And no matter how much I tried to tune slip out of the transmission, it just refused to. And what I didn't realize is that the transmission was never going in overdrive, and that's because I hadn't read, it was partially my fault, read with the controller what logo the controller would show if it were going into lockup or what the software would show. So even though the software was showing that it was going into lockup, the transmission actually wasn't. So it was in the range, but it wasn't performing lockup, and that's because it just wasn't happy about some parameter. So because it wasn't locking the converter, the transmission was getting hot the whole time. As a result of that, here's us at a McDonald's drive-thru for the first time, and us look, this is the top of the drive-thru window, and look how much higher David's head is, and we're looking down at them. Here's my daughter and David. He's holding her up, and she's pointing at the real trucks don't have spark plug sticker. Here's my daughter standing next to a 40-inch tire, just how massive that is. You see her head doesn't even reach the tail light. Here she is in the passenger seat. Here's David's daughter in the passenger seat. Oh, she's so much bigger now. Alright, so that resulted in us getting some cooling goodies. So right here we have a derail active cooling pan, and what it's got is these holes going through the bottom. It's tubes that go all the way through it, and the tubes have a piece of metal that spirals all the way down it and forces air as it passes under the truck to make a spiral. And this pan hangs down a good bit. It's actually low enough that it can catch airflow, and it spirals that air through the tube, and the idea is to conduct heat through the pan and back out of it passively while the truck is going down the road, while also adding a few quarts. You can see in here the tubes actually going through the pan, the filter baffle right here. Here is the derail plate and fin style cooler. It's actually got a big electric fan on it right here, and this is fully active. This is what makes all of the noise when a truck comes on. That's why we didn't care if the engine fan was on. This sucker is loud. It's actually tucked up underneath. It's above the rear axle, so it's like in the area right underneath where someone would sit in the back seat. It's tucked up in there, and it gets really good airflow, and it's out of the way, and mud can't even really get to it. Like, you'd literally look right here is a good picture. You'd have to bury the truck, absolutely bury it to get up here. You see where the frame rail is? We're even above the frame rail. Alright, and you can see here, after putting that on, the trans temps are back under control. We rarely, even, doing a lot of heavy highway driving, saw the trans temperature get over 170, 180, and that was it not locking up like it's supposed to. Alright, so what you see here is the ever ubiquitous cold start of a diesel motor. This was actually the first cold weather start of this truck. And you may go, well, how cold was it? Well, it's South Louisiana. It was only about 20 degrees. But for us, that's very cold. And you're like, well, that truck shouldn't have struggled so much to start. There must be a problem. That's not what it is either. David went in raw dog here. He didn't give the glow plugs a chance to warm up. He wanted the dramatic, raspy, poppy, smoky cold start out of the truck. Because otherwise, if he'd glow the plugs, it would fire right up. Alright, well, guess what, y'all? We've gone full circle. In fact, here's some very old photos from when the engine was still in the truck all the way at the end here. Nice. Okay, well, we've gone full circle. That's absolutely all the photos I have for you. And look, guys, I really appreciate y'all coming along with this. It might be boring for some people, but there are guys out there who are curious exactly what it took, and I know it's not everything. Maybe someday we'll get the opportunity to build another one on camera, and we'll make it a lot easier for y'all to follow through with that. But if y'all have any questions, we have our social media link down below. Y'all just go in there, find one of those to contact me in, and ask a question. We're more than welcome to help you so you can build your own just like ours. Well, y'all have a blessed day. Thank you very much for being here. And y'all tune in for the next episode of Murphy's Law Garage. Peace.